Do you want an amazing marriage? Are you ready to take your marriage to the next level? Then stick around for your Marriage Matters podcast with marriage coach Lynn. Let's put some fun and sizzle into your relationship.
Hi friends. When you speak, do you want to be listened to? When you are having a conversation and you decide to talk, do you want people to pay attention? I'm sure your answer is yes. The same is true of your spouse. When we talk, we hope the other person gives us their undivided attention most of the time. I say most of the time because we know that sometimes if we are driving a car, navigating new directions, we might not be fully present for conversation. Also, if your 2-year-old is about to get into something messy or dangerous, the focus should be on more important matters as opposed to the conversation. Today's topic is turn towards each other instead of away. This is the third level of the sound relationship house. It's still considered part of the foundation in building a strong marriage. Turning towards one another involves brief exchanges. Dr. John Gottman calls them bids. Responding or not responding to your spouse can make or break a marriage. It's really these little things, their cumulative effect, not just the big things that happen in a marriage. These brief exchanges, what are they? They are like invitations. It's an invitation to engage with each other. An example would be, and this is an invitation for you to pay attention, that let's say your husband is talking about a friend at work. The conversation seems to be running its course in your mind. You're in the kitchen making dinner maybe, and you're making some eye contact with him. And when it seems the story is almost done or should be done, again, in your mind, you blurt out, "Oh no, I need cornstarch. We're out of cornstarch." Suddenly, you've indicated that what your husband was saying wasn't important. But guess what? It was important to him. This breaches respect, and your husband will probably say something like, "Wow, you weren't listening. Forget it. I'm done." You have just turned away from your husband rather than towards. When you make a comment, let's say that you're asking your husband from another room if you want to plan a weekend trip next month, and he hears you, but he does not respond. He hasn't accepted the bid. Now, granted, of course, we know it's better to talk face to face, eye to eye, but lots of times there's conversation that goes on. I'll speak for myself. Yes, sometimes I do yell from downstairs or from another room, but if your husband hears you or your wife hears you and you do not respond, then you're not accepting a bid, quote unquote, what Dr. John Gottman calls bids. Well, how about if you say to your husband, another example would be like, "Oh, what would you like for dinner?" And he immediately replies, "Oh, whatever you'd like, and maybe we can go out tomorrow." Now, yes, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for more of this in marriage. We're looking for enthusiasm, response, you're engaged, you're listening, you care. So again, respond, pay attention, show respect, engage. With the little things, and when we turn towards our partner, we are making emotional connections. That's what this is all about, emotional connections added up over time. We are ensuring more passion. We are creating a lively marriage and relationship. And we're essentially saying to our partner that, hey, you matter to me and you're important to me. The more we turn toward each other, the more emotional savings we accumulate. You can call this a emotional bank account. Some authors have called it the love bank. When conflict arises, if you have a nicely packed bank account and it's pretty full, you will have a positive sense of each other. So in other words, a conflict arises, and what's going to happen ordinarily is that those hard times are not as hard as they could be. that you're more likely to rebound and repair more easily. I have seen this in many different couples with different types of relationships, and I can attest to that yes, you rebound and you repair more quickly. You bounce back from those arguments and conflicts. They don't drag on. They don't fester. They're not deep and long-lasting. We also experience more long-lasting romance and warmth. So, what do we want to do with all of this? The whole goal is to build the emotional bank account. The fundamental process is building awareness of how your partner asks for connection and expresses emotional needs. And I want to just talk about that for a moment or two. People sometimes are not going to verbally come up and say to you, hey, I have an emotional need to be connected with you. Can you please sit down, look me in the eye, and listen to what I have to say? Lots of times we know that men like recreational activities. So if your husband, let's say he likes fishing, maybe he likes going to automotive car displays or shows, and you maybe you don't really care about that. But if your husband asks you a couple of times over the course of a few months to go, maybe just say once to the bid, turn towards him and go. He probably wants your company. So just go ahead and do it, and you'll find that you might have a good time. So his emotional needs and connection might be a desire to have you attend something with him that he usually goes to alone or maybe with his guy friends. And what this does is you are deciding to turn toward these bids. Again, it's a decision and it's a choice to turn towards these bids. Also, I will say that there's a lot of mindfulness and awareness that we need to pay attention to in order to turn towards bids. We don't want to neglect opportunities. We definitely don't want to turn away or against. So this week's focus is to give your full attention, preferably with eye contact, face to face, when your partner speaks. This, I think, you'll find challenging. You're going to start paying attention to even the small things. And I know our brain we have so much going on during the day. We turn off, we ignore. And this time I would like you to be mindful. Be mindful of the small conversations of whenever your partner is speaking to you. Try to pay full attention. Try to show genuine interest by making eye contact, by nodding, by giving those nonverbals as he or she is speaking. Communicate your understanding and take your spouse's side. You know that I'm a big believer in the team concept. And if you two are on each other's sides, that definitely builds a camaraderie, a closeness, turning towards each other. You also want to express affection, right? Sometimes women have a need for more affection to be expressed, and sometimes it just goes unexpressed. So show affection by a touch or a smile or a closeness, and validate your partner's emotions. Let's say your husband had a hard day, and the boss, it was a difficult day, and your husband's annoyed. And you just validate, I can understand how you'd be annoyed at that. Gosh, that sounds like that was a tough day. Again, we want to turn towards our partner by focusing and giving our full attention, and we want to just be mindful and pay attention. I invite you to subscribe and visit my YouTube channel, Marriage Coach Lynn, because there you will find motivational Monday videos that go along with this podcast for the day's episode. I'm trying to be organized here, and what I do is every Monday that this podcast is uploaded and provided to you, I also provide a YouTube video on Marriage Coach Lynn that gives you the exercise. So you can listen to the 10 or 15 minute podcast. If you go straight to the YouTube channel, I like to try to keep them 2 to 3 minutes. The secret to lifelong happy marriage is turning toward each other. Pay attention to each other. Be mindful. not negligent. Until next time, make your marriage great.